Welcome to a story that will forever change how you see success. This is not just a tale, it is an experience that will touch your heart and stay with you for life. Today, you are not merely watching a video, you are entering the raw, unfiltered reality of one of the world's most famous, beloved, and unstoppable men. He is a man who made the entire globe laugh, all while silently battling unimaginable pain. He jumped off buildings, shattered his bones, cracked his skull, and pushed his body to its limits, purely for our entertainment. He became a global superstar, yet never truly experienced a childhood. His name is Jackie Chan. But this is not the Jackie Chan you know from the silver screen. This is the boy abandoned by his parents, the child disciplined through beatings, the stuntman who repeatedly faced death for just one more shot. This is the legend who earned billions, then chose to give it all away. And this is the old man who now looks back at his life, wondering if he ever truly lived. In this story, you will uncover the brutal training Jackie endured as a child, the profound heartbreak of being separated from his parents for a decade, the life-threatening stunts that nearly claimed him, the deep loneliness that accompanied global fame, the gnawing regret he carries concerning his son, and the ultimate truth he discovered after decades of relentless sacrifice. You will also learn how genuine success is forged not through shortcuts, but through unwavering discipline, repeated failures, personal heartbreak, and immense courage. And here is the best part. This story will also enhance your English. As you listen to this narrative, told in clear, emotional, and accessible English, your mind will deeply connect with authentic vocabulary, natural sentence structures, and powerful storytelling. You will not just learn about Jackie Chan, you will begin to think in English as his journey unfolds within your mind. So, prepare yourself. Get ready for a story that is not only emotional and motivational, but one that will resonate with you for the rest of your life. Let us begin. Part 1, The Boy with No Home, Jackie Chan's painful beginning. Jackie Chan was not born into wealth, strength, or fame. He was born a poor child in Hong Kong on April 7, 1954. His birth name was Chan Kong, meaning born in Hong Kong, because his parents were refugees who had just fled the civil war in China. They had nothing. His father, Charles Chan, worked as a cook, and his mother, Li Chan, as a housemaid. They lacked money for toys, time for love, and even the knowledge of how to raise a child. So, when Jackie was born, they entrusted him to someone else for a few years, simply to survive. He grew up alone, and even as a small child, he understood one fundamental truth. I have to be strong. Nobody is coming to save me. When Jackie was 6 years old, an event occurred that altered his life forever. His parents received a job offer in Australia. It was a significant opportunity for them, but they could not take Jackie. Thus, they made a decision that would leave an indelible scar on his heart for the rest of his life. They left him behind. They enrolled him in a place called the China Drama Academy, a boarding school for Chinese opera performers. However, it was less a school and more a military prison for children. The master of the academy was a cruel man named Master Yu Jim Yuan, and Jackie became one of his students. At just 6 years old, Jackie was plunged into a world of pain, strict discipline, and endless training. The children woke before sunrise, had no breakfast, no laughter, and no rest. They trained from early morning until late night, owning their bodies, voices, flexibility, and reactions. If they cried, they were hit. If they made a mistake, they were punished. If they fell, they were ordered to get back up. There was no sympathy, no love, no weekends, no holidays, and no parents. They slept on wooden floors, ate cheap food, and shared one bathroom. The master believed in discipline through pain. He made the boys hold handstands for hours, tied their legs open to force full splits, and beat them with sticks if they failed to memorize a line. This brutal routine continued every day for 10 years. Jackie once confessed in an interview, "I used to cry every day, but no one cared. I just wanted to see my parents, but they never came." This is the part of Jackie's story nobody tells you. Behind every smile you have ever seen on screen was a child who felt abandoned, unloved, and broken inside. Within the academy, Jackie found solace with other boys who would become his brothers. Together, they were known as the Seven Little Fortunes, a team of top students excelling in acrobatics, kung fu, and performance. They toured throughout Hong Kong, performing shows for money. Jackie was the leader of the group, his extraordinary talent evident even then. He could perform flips, jump through rings, fight, sing, fall, and dance all in one performance. He did not do it out of love, but out of necessity, hoping deep in his heart that one day his parents would return for him. But they never did. By the age of 10, Jackie had no parents, no toys, no holidays, no real friends outside the school, no warm bed, no hugs, and no one to tell him, "You're doing great." All he had was his pain and a singular dreams. If I work hard enough, maybe one day the world will see me. From age 6 to 17, Jackie lived within that agonizing world. Yet, he did not break. In fact, it forged him into someone stronger than anyone could imagine. He learned to control pain, to smile even when it hurt, to perfect a move after 1,000 failures, to obey, to lead, to sacrifice, and to remain humble. For no matter how skilled he became, the master never praised him. This was the Jackie Chan the world does not know, the child soldier, the quiet performer, the lonely warrior. He did not choose this life, but it became the bedrock for everything he would later become. When Jackie finally left the China Drama Academy at 17, he possessed no certificate, no college degree, no money, and no family support. He had spent over a decade training like a machine. But now that training was over, he stepped into the real world, and nobody cared who he was. There were no job offers, no fans, no applause, no security. Just an endless city teeming with hundreds of boys like him, all striving to survive. He had only one option: become a stuntman, and not a safe, comfortable stuntman like those in Hollywood. In Hong Kong, stuntmen were treated as expendable tools. Producers disregarded safety, and directors ignored injuries. If you got hurt, they would simply replace you. But Jackie had no choice. He needed to eat. He needed a future. So he said yes and walked directly into the most perilous chapter of his life. Jackie began working as an extra in low-budget kung fu films. He was not the hero, nor even the villain. He was the man in the background who gets punched once and falls down. Sometimes he was a bandit, sometimes a bodyguard, sometimes just fighter number 4. Nobody cared about his name, and nobody gave him lines, and nobody even provided proper safety gear. All they offered was a quick directive: jump from here, get kicked, fall down, don't cry, and Jackie obeyed every order. He leaped off balconies, tumbled down stairs, crashed through tables, landed flat on his back, fell on his face, was kicked in the teeth, struck with real wooden sticks, thrown into walls, almost drowned, lost teeth, dislocated bones, and once nearly broke his neck. But he never said no. Why? Because deep inside, he still harbored one dream: if I do this better than anyone else, maybe one day they will remember me. One day in the early 1970s, Jackie was hired as a stuntman for a film called Enter the Dragon. This was no ordinary movie. It was the first major Hollywood martial arts film starring none other than Bruce Lee. Bruce was already a legend, a global icon. Every stuntman yearned to work with him, even for a few seconds. And Jackie got his chance. In one scene, Jackie was supposed to run at Bruce and be hit hard to showcase Bruce's power. That was it. 1 second of pain, 1 second of visibility. Jackie ran. Bruce struck him hard with a stick, and Jackie fell so violently that he momentarily lost his bearings. But what happened next changed Jackie's life. Bruce Lee stopped the scene, rushed over, and helped Jackie up. He gently touched Jackie's head and asked, "Are you okay?" It was a small moment, but for Jackie, it was the first time someone important had noticed him. He pretended he was still hurt just to savor a few more seconds of Bruce Lee's kindness. That single second made Jackie believe, if Bruce Lee can become a global icon, maybe I can too. But I will have to find my own way. Jackie understood something crucial. He could never be Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee was serious, powerful, clean, and perfect. But Jackie, he was always falling, always messy, always funny. So Jackie made a decision. I will not copy Bruce Lee. I will do something nobody else does. I will be the man who fights and falls, who fights and laughs, who fights and gets hurt, but always gets back up. That was the moment Jackie began to sculpt his future. Even after working with Bruce Lee, Jackie's life did not instantly transform. For years, he remained just another nameless man getting kicked on camera. Producers scoffed at him, directors ignored him. Nobody offered him a main role. Some even told him, "Your face is not good for movies. You look funny. You do not talk like a hero. You cannot be the lead actor." Such words would have crushed most people. But Jackie pressed on. He worked 18 hours a day, slept on studio floors, and ate cheap noodles. Sometimes he was not even paid, but every day he practiced. He observed how other actors moved. He trained his face to convey emotion. He studied comedy. He conditioned his body to fall safely yet appear painful. He rehearsed thousands of stunts until they looked real but were controlled. Jackie harbored a secret mission. One day, I will create a new kind of hero. A hero who makes you laugh while bleeding. A hero who does not always win but never gives up. In 1978, Jackie was offered a role in a film called Snake in the Eagle's Shadow. It was a low-budget kung fu comedy. But for the first time, Jackie was allowed to fuse martial arts with comedy. He portrayed a weak, silly young man who learns kung fu in an unconventional manner using humor, surprise, and rapid movements. Audiences adored it. They had never witnessed anything like it. Jackie made them laugh, then fight, then fall, then win. He was not perfect like Bruce Lee, but he was real. He was the relatable guy who failed, got hurt, and still stood up. The film became a major success, followed by another hit, Drunken Master. Suddenly, Jackie Chan became a name people remembered. He had found his style. Not Bruce Lee's style, not anyone else's style, but Jackie Chan's style: pain, laughter, chaos, stunts, comedy, and courage. Jackie did not get lucky. He did not know the right people. He did not have rich parents. He did not receive handouts. He built himself through pain, falls, failures, broken bones, and quiet, persistent practice over many, many years. And now he was finally ready to take the next step, to become more than just a star in Hong Kong. He yearned for the world, but the world was not yet ready for him. Part 2, Jackie Chan versus Hollywood, the painful road to global fame. By the late 1970s, Jackie Chan had finally achieved stardom in Hong Kong. After years of broken bones, rejection, and humiliation, he was now the face of kung fu comedy. His movies like Drunken Master and Snake in the Eagle's Shadow had made him a household name. Audiences loved his speed, his humor, and his unique style. Yet, Jackie was not satisfied. He looked beyond Hong Kong, beyond China, beyond Asia. He craved the world. He wanted to break into Hollywood, the largest movie industry on earth. Because for him, true success meant being known everywhere. But what Jackie did not know was that Hollywood was not ready for him, and his next journey would become one of the most painful, humiliating, and difficult chapters of his life. In 1980, Jackie received an offer to work in the United States. It was a dream come true. An American producer had seen his Hong Kong films and thought, this guy could be the next Bruce Lee. They cast Jackie in a movie called The Big Brawl, his first leading role in an English language film. The producers were excited. Jackie was excited. Everyone anticipated a huge success. But the moment filming began, Jackie realized something was terribly wrong. The American director did not understand Jackie's style. He wanted Jackie to fight like Bruce Lee, serious, slow, powerful. But Jackie was not Bruce Lee. He tried to suggest ideas, fast moves, funny reactions, crazy stunts. But the director simply said, "No, just do it the American way." Jackie felt frustrated and ignored. Nobody listened to his creative ideas. Nobody allowed him to be himself. He was a guest in someone else's system. When the movie was finally released, it flopped. American audiences did not grasp Jackie. Asian audiences disliked the Americanized version of him, and critics declared, "This actor is trying to be Bruce Lee, but he is not even close." Jackie felt embarrassed, disappointed, and angry. He had left Hong Kong at the peak of his success, and now he was being ridiculed in the very country he dreamed of conquering. But Jackie did not give up. He signed up for another American movie, The Cannonball Run, a comedy featuring Hollywood stars like Burt Reynolds and Roger Moore. Jackie was given a small role, a Japanese driver. There was one significant problem: Jackie is not Japanese, he is Chinese. But the producers did not care. They did not even know the difference. To them, all Asians were the same. Jackie was too polite to object. He wore the costume. He smiled for the camera. He delivered the lines they gave him. And once again, the movie failed to advance his career. He was being used as a decoration, not as a real actor. He was placed in movies not to shine, but merely to fill a slot. And the worst part, he could not speak English fluently, so during interviews, Jackie struggled to express himself. He felt stupid small and lost in translation. He returned to Hong Kong not as a global star, but as a man who had tasted rejection from the world's biggest stage. After failing in Hollywood, most people would have surrendered. They would have concluded, I am not good enough. It is not my time. They do not accept people like me. But Jackie did something different. He returned to Hong Kong, sat down with his team, and declared, we are going to build something they have never seen before. They rejected me. Then I will give them a reason to come begging. He resolved to create his own brand of films, combining wild stunts, real pain, fast-paced action, Hong Kong culture, international level storytelling, comedy, and emotion, all infused with Jackie's signature smile. He invented a new genre. Not traditional kung fu, not Hollywood action, but something entirely unique. And this time, he had complete control. He directed the films himself, choreographed the fights himself, designed the stunts himself, and even sang the theme songs in Chinese. He became a one-man movie army. From 1985 to 1995, Jackie produced film after film, each one more audacious than the last. Some of his most iconic works during this period include Police Story, where he slides down a 5-story pole covered in lights, Project A, where he falls from a clock tower and lands on his head, Armor of God, where he jumps between trees and cracks his skull open, and Rumble in the Bronx, where he breaks his ankle and continues filming with a sock painted to resemble a shoe. Every single film involved genuine danger, real blood, and authentic Jackie Chan pain. He did not use stunt doubles. He did not use CGI. He believed, if I want the audience to feel something real, then I have to do something real. These films became legendary in Asia, Europe, and even parts of Africa and South America. Slowly, the West began to take notice. American fans started asking, who is this guy? Why does he risk his life in every movie? This is better than anything we have in Hollywood. Hollywood producers began to pay attention, and this time, they did not want to control Jackie. They wanted to embrace him exactly as he was. By the late 1990s, Jackie was nearly 45 years old. He had already broken his fingers, his nose more than 5 times, his ribs, his teeth, his skull, his ankles, and his spine. He had performed over 1,000 stunts, many without permission or safety checks. He had nearly died more than 10 times on set, yet he was still smiling, still climbing, still dreaming. Then came one final chance. An American producer offered him the lead role in a new buddy cop comedy film called Rush Hour. Jackie read the script. It was funny. It was fast. And the co-star would be Chris Tucker, a loud, energetic African-American comedian. It was the perfect contrast, and Jackie said, yes, nobody expected it to succeed. But when Rush Hour was released in 1998, it exploded. Rush Hour became one of the biggest action, comedy hits in history. Jackie's fights, expressions, accent, timing, and chemistry with Chris Tucker were adored across the world. He was finally accepted not as the next Bruce Lee, but as the first and only Jackie Chan. And after Rush Hour came Shanghai Noon, then Rush Hour 2, then the Tuxedo, then the Medallion, and even voice roles like Master Monkey in Kung Fu Panda. The same man who had once been ridiculed, rejected, and ignored by Hollywood was now invited, respected, awarded, and loved by Hollywood. For the first time in his life, Jackie Chan was no longer fighting for attention, no longer chasing fame, no longer struggling for a breakthrough. He had become a global icon. From Hong Kong to Hollywood, everyone knew his name. His movies were everywhere in every cinema, on every TV, in every language. He had money, awards, fans, respect, and a long list of directors begging to work with him. But something was wrong. Something inside Jackie did not feel complete. In fact, he was feeling something worse than emptiness. He was feeling guilt. Because while he was climbing the mountain of success, there was one part of his life he had left far behind: his family. And the first person that came into his mind was his son. Jackie Chan had a son named J.C. Chan, born in 1982. Jackie was 28 at the time, already a rising star in Hong Kong. But even when J.C. was born, Jackie was not ready to become a father. He was still working day and night on film sets, jumping through windows, falling off buildings, doing press tours, flying between countries. He was not home. He did not attend school meetings. He did not go to games or birthdays. He did not teach his son how to ride a bike or solve problems. Instead, Jackie told himself, "If I make more money, I can give my son a better future." But what JC truly wanted was not money. He wanted his father. By the time Jackie realized this, it was too late. JC had grown up feeling ignored, unseen, and unloved. In interviews, JC admitted that he was often raised by his mother, helpers, and private tutors, but rarely saw his father. And when they did talk, Jackie was not soft. He was strict. He was cold. He did not know how to be emotionally present. Years later, Jackie wrote in his autobiography, "When I think about my son, I feel I have failed. I was too focused on success. I gave him everything except myself." He admitted that he once hit JC so hard during an argument that his wife had to pull him away in fear. He later said, "I regret that moment every day." Jackie had grown up being beaten by his master. That was how he learned discipline. But he did not realize his son was not him. JC was not a fighter. He was not a stuntman. He was not trying to be a martial artist. He just wanted to be a son. But Jackie could not see it then. He was blinded by ambition. JC tried to follow in his father's footsteps, entering the entertainment world. He studied music. He tried acting. But every time he appeared on screen, people would say, "That is Jackie Chan's son. Let us see if he is like his dad. He better be great." The pressure was crushing, and JC struggled to find his own identity. He did not want to flip off rooftops. He did not want to fight 10 men at once. He wanted to sing, create, and just be himself. But being Jackie Chan's son meant the world never let him be normal. Jackie once said, "I gave my son too much. I tried to make up for my absence by giving him everything He asked for cars, gadgets, opportunities. But I forgot to give him values. That was my mistake. He believed he was giving love by giving things. But what he missed was presence, emotion, patience, and listening. In 2014, JC was arrested in Beijing for drug possession. The news spread across the world instantly. He was sentenced to 6 months in prison. The son of Jackie Chan, known for discipline, strength, and clean living, was now in jail. The media went wild. Fans were shocked. Reporters asked, how could Jackie's son end up like this? But Jackie did not blame anyone. He blamed himself. He released a public statement that said, I am ashamed. I feel pain as a father. JC must take responsibility. But I know this is also my failure. I did not guide him well. I failed to be there when it mattered most. It was the most emotional public apology Jackie had ever made. Behind the strong body, the smiling face, and the fighter's heart was now a father full of regret. As Jackie entered his 50s and 60s, he started to reflect more deeply on life. He thought about his childhood. He thought about his pain. He thought about his career. But most of all, he thought about his legacy. He made a shocking decision. Jackie Chan announced that he would donate almost all his wealth to charity when he dies, not to his son. He said, if JC is capable, he can make his own money. If he is not, he will not know how to keep my money anyway. This made headlines around the world. Some people supported it. Others were confused. But Jackie explained, I do not want to leave behind money. I want to leave behind values. My money came from pain. If my son does not understand that pain, the money will destroy him. He wanted JC to learn the way Jackie learned, by falling, by failing, and by growing strong through it. Even with all his success, Jackie now spends many days thinking about what he missed. He missed the warmth of a father-son bond. He missed moments of childhood. He missed conversations that could have changed everything. He has said in interviews, when you are young, you think money is everything. You think fame is power. But when you grow older, you realize the most important things in life are love, peace, and time. Jackie started doing more charity work, helping schools, orphanages, and young stunt performers. He became more active in public education, safety campaigns, and youth training. He also began mentoring young actors, offering them advice he never received because he did not want others to repeat his mistakes. Jackie Chan remains a hero to millions, but his legacy is not simple. Some criticize his political opinions. Some criticize his parenting. Some feel disappointed in how he handled certain things. But one thing is clear: Jackie never pretended to be perfect. He always showed his scars, his wounds, and his failures. And maybe that is what makes his story so powerful. He is not a man of fantasy. He is a man who rose from pain, loneliness, and confusion, who made the world laugh and cheer, and who now, in silence, reflects on what truly matters. Part 3. The Final Falls of Jackie Chan. A body that gave everything. By the time Jackie Chan turned 60 years old, he had spent more than 5 decades falling, flipping, fighting, crashing, and surviving. He was no longer just an action star. He had become a symbol of courage, sacrifice, and unstoppable energy. But there was one enemy even Jackie could not defeat: time. His muscles, once hard as steel, had become tight, slow, and painful. His bones, once flexible as rubber, had become stiff, sore, and cracking. His heart, once wild with ambition, had become quiet, heavy, and thoughtful. Jackie Chan, the man who flew through glass windows, jumped between moving cars, and fell from rooftops, was now struggling to do the smallest things. He could not bend the same way. He could not sleep without pain. He could not run without feeling the tight pull of years of injuries. But still, he refused to stop. By this stage in life, Jackie's medical file resembled that of a war survivor. He did not just get hurt once or twice. He was almost killed more times than most people can count. Let us look at the real list: a skull fracture from Armor of God, where he almost died and started bleeding from his ears. A broken nose more than 3 times, broken fingers several times, dislocated shoulders many times, fractured ribs countless times, broken ankles, once having to wear a sock painted like a shoe just to finish a movie, a pelvis injury that made walking difficult for years, teeth knocked out, then fixed and lost again, severe burns from explosions gone wrong, permanent hearing loss in one ear, back injuries that still make it hard for him to sit for long periods, and chronic spinal pain from decades of abuse. And perhaps the worst part, most of these injuries were never fully healed because Jackie never took long breaks. He would rest a little, then return to set. Why? Because he believed, if I do not finish the movie, the whole team suffers. I cannot let them down. That was Jackie's greatest strength and biggest flaw. He never put himself first. Even after 50, Jackie continued performing real stunts that most actors would not dare attempt at 25. In movies like Who Am I?, he slid down a 21-story glass building without a harness. In Chinese Zodiac, he jumped across cliffs and engaged in fast-paced car chases. In Skip Trace, he was in freezing water for hours. In Vanguard, he performed multiple chase scenes, even after injuring his hip. Producers begged him to use stunt doubles. But Jackie always gave the same answer. If the audience sees my face in the shot, they believe it. If they believe it, they feel it. That is what I am here for, to make them feel something real. That was Jackie's mission, not just to entertain, but to make people feel something real, even if it broke him. After each scene, Jackie did not go home smiling. He often limped back to his trailer, holding his back, icing his legs, sometimes crying from the pain. He could not sleep well. He had trouble standing for long. His hands would shake after every fight scene, and sometimes he had to be helped just to take off his costume. But when the camera turned on, he became Jackie Chan again because he knew there are people out there watching this movie who are going through pain, sadness, and depression. If I can make them smile even for 10 seconds, it is worth everything. That was his mindset. And that is why the world loves him, not just for his talent, but for his heart. As Jackie reached his 60s, his doctors began warning him. They said, "You cannot take another fall like this. If you hit your head again, you could lose your memory. One wrong move could paralyze you." But Jack kept pushing, because stopping meant facing something he was not ready for. Silence. For more than 50 years, he had lived in front of cameras. He had been the center of sets, the leader of crews, the man who jumped first. If he stopped, he would not know who he was anymore. So instead of fully retiring, Jackie chose a new path. He would slowly shift from action to mentorship, from falling on screen to lifting others behind the scenes. But the transition was not easy. Jackie began investing in younger actors and stunt teams. He trained them, fed them, protected them, and gave them opportunities the same way he never had. He created scholarships, opened training centers, funded film schools, and told every young actor, do not copy me, learn from me, and then do better. He also started doing more voice work, like in Kung Fu Panda, where he played Master Monkey. It was less physical, but still powerful, because Jackie realized something. Even if I cannot fight the same, I can still inspire. That became his new fight, to use his story to lift others. In recent years, Jackie began receiving Lifetime Achievement Awards around the world. At the Oscars, when he finally received his honorary Academy Award, he said, after 56 years in the industry, after making over 200 films, after breaking so many bones, I finally have one of these. Thank you. He smiled, but his eyes were wet because he remembered the wooden floors of the China Drama Academy. The rejections in Hollywood, the broken skulls, the broken heart, and the years of waiting for the world to understand his value. He also gave a speech in Beijing where he said, if I had another life, I would not do it all again. Not because I do not love my fans, but because I would like to live once without pain. That was the most honest line he had ever spoken. Even legends get tired. Jackie Chan's body gave everything it had. It bent, cracked, blood, and carried his dream across the world. But now it is slowing down. He can no longer jump the way he used to. He no longer fights in the same style. He chooses carefully what to do. But in that slower pace, there is wisdom. There is peace. Because Jackie has proven everything. He does not need to fall anymore because the world already rose for him. Part 4. The Final Bow. Jackie Chan's last chapter. The cameras are quieter now. The stunts are fewer. The crowds still scream his name, but Jackie no longer runs to the edge of the rooftop, ready to fall. He walks slowly now. He smiles more softly. He sits longer, breathes deeper, and talks more carefully. Because after spending over 60 years in the spotlight, after breaking almost every bone in his body, after rising from poverty to global fame, after losing himself, finding himself, and losing again, Jackie Chan is no longer chasing the next hit movie. He is chasing something else, something he had ignored for most of his life piece. Today, Jackie lives a slower, simpler life. He still acts occasionally, but only in carefully chosen roles. He avoids risky stunts now. He respects his age. He listens to his body. Most of his days are now spent training younger actors, writing and reviewing scripts, attending charity events, traveling to give talks at schools and universities, sitting quietly in nature, reading, meditating, or remembering. He often visits his old stunt team, many of whom are also aging, injured, or retired. They share stories. They laugh. Sometimes they cry because those men are the only ones who truly understand the pain, the fear, and the glory of what they gave up for cinema. Jackie pays for their medical bills, supports their families, and always says, without them, there would be no Jackie Chan. This is who he is now, not just a star, but a protector of those who built him. Jackie knows that one day he will not be here anymore. So now he is focused on what he leaves behind. He is actively building film museums that preserve Hong Kong cinema and martial arts history, charity schools for children from poor backgrounds, especially in rural areas, scholarships for young filmmakers and actors, stunt training academies to keep the art of real action alive, and archives of all his films, footage, outtakes, injuries, and behind-the-scenes materials. He is also writing more books, letters, and reflections for people who want to learn from his life. But Jackie does not want to be remembered just as a movie star. He wants to be remembered as a man who gave everything he had and then still gave more. Jackie has spoken openly about his aging. In one interview, he said, "There are mornings I wake up and I do not know if I can walk straight. My knees hurt. My back screams. My fingers are stiff. But then I remember I chose this." He no longer regrets the injuries. He accepts them. He calls them the price of a dream. But with that acceptance has come a new understanding that the body breaks, but the mind must heal. That time is limited, that people disappear, that money fades, that pain teaches, that love matters more than fame. He has now reached a place in life where he says, "I do not want more houses. I do not want more awards. I just want the world to become a little better because I was in it." A fame is not friendship. Jackie has millions of fans, but very few people who truly know him. He has admitted in multiple interviews that he sometimes feels deeply lonely. He walks through airports and people scream his name. He sits in a restaurant and strangers ask for photos. He smiles always, but deep inside he sometimes thinks, do they love me? Or just the version of me they saw on screen? That is the silent pain of legends. Everyone knows your name, but very few understand your soul. And Jackie, even now, still feels like that little boy at China Drama Academy, trying to be strong when nobody is watching. Over the years, Jackie has given thousands of interviews, speeches, and talks. But there is one message he keeps repeating to the younger generation. Do not look for easy success. Look for real value. Do not copy others. Build your own path. Do not chase fame. Chase growth. Do not give up when it hurts. That is where real strength is built. He warns young actors, do not think I am lucky. I worked through blood. I was laughed at, beaten, doubted, but I never stopped. He tells them, the best life is not the easiest one. It is the one where you can say, I gave everything. And that is what Jackie wants you to remember. Not his movies, not his stunts, not his fame, but his effort, his dedication, his discipline. In his later years, Jackie began receiving the global recognition he had waited decades for. An Oscar Lifetime Achievement Award, BAFTA awards, honorary doctorates from universities, statues in Hong Kong and Hollywood, streets named after him, and UNICEF ambassador for children's rights. But every time he accepts these honors, he bows his head and says, I am not better than others. I just refuse to quit. He reminds the world I was a nobody. I cleaned floors. I carried cables. I ate on dirty sets. I bled on cold concrete. I am just the result of what happens when you love your craft more than your comfort. In recent years, Jackie has begun speaking softly but honestly about death. He does not fear it, but he wants to be ready. He wants his last years to be useful, not just comfortable. He wants to pass down his knowledge, not just sit in luxury. He wants to leave a trail that others can follow, not a throne that disappears. He once said, "One day my name will stop trending, my face will fade. But if I did my job right, some boy somewhere will keep going because of me." That is enough. That is everything. He also wrote, "Death comes for all of us. But not all of us live fully before it comes. I lived fully. I gave everything. I can go in peace. Even with all the peace Jackie now seeks, there is one wound that never fully healed: his son. Their relationship has improved, but it is not perfect. They talk sometimes, they meet sometimes, but Jackie knows you can fix a house, but you cannot always fix a broken childhood. He does not hide this pain. Instead, he uses it as a lesson. He tells young fathers, your children do not need a hero. They need you. Do not make the same mistake I did. This is perhaps his deepest regret and his most powerful truth. In one interview, the host asked, "What do you want people to remember when you are gone?" Jackie paused, then said, "I want them to say he gave his life for others. Not just on screen, but off screen. He never gave up. He did not pretend to be perfect. He made people smile. He made people stronger. He showed what it means to love your craft, your people, and your pain." He smiled, then added, "And maybe they will watch one of my old movies and still feel like I am there jumping, fighting, falling, and getting back up one last time." This is not just Jackie Chan's story. This is a story about fighting even when nobody believes in you. Smiling while you are in pain. Falling again and again and rising every time. Building something real from nothing. Becoming a legend not by being perfect, but by being relentless. He was never the tallest, never the strongest, never the fastest, but he outworked everyone. And he never stopped. He became more than an actor. He became a lesson. So when you think of Jackie Chan from now on, do not just think of the action star. Think of the boy who was abandoned, the man who was doubted, the father who was broken, the body that was shattered, the legend who kept moving. Think of the man who gave everything so you could believe in something. If this story moved your heart, if you learned something powerful today, if you want more real, emotional, life-changing stories like this that also help you improve your English every time, then subscribe now and become part of something truly powerful. Because this is not just a channel. This is a journey of greatness. And it is only just beginning. Thank you for watching. Now go live your life like Jackie did, with fire in your soul and no fear in your fall.